Hello friends, Karl Marx once said that history repeats itself first as tragedy and then as farce. This idea fits well when we look at how powerful nations act on the global stage. Another famous quote by Winston Churchill, and the quote is, "The farther backward you can look, the farther forward you are likely to see." This reminds us that today's politics often follow the same patterns from the past. The Melian dialogue, recorded by the Greek historian Thucydides, stands as one of the oldest examples of power politics. It happened in 416 BC during the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Sparta. Thucydides wrote about how the Athenians, the stronger side, demanded the surrender of the small and neutral island of Melos. The Athenians made it clear that justice did not matter, only power did. As Thucydides wrote, "The strong do what they can, and the weak suffer what they must." This idea still shapes international politics today. Let us look at how the story of Melos relates to modern times, especially United States actions in the Middle East, like in Iraq and Iran. And when they don't intervene directly, they have their pet hounds do the job for them, as in the case of Israel's 12-day war against Iran. Pakistan is also doing the dirty work on behalf of China and the West against India. This dirty work thing, it was actually confessed by Pakistan's defense minister. Powerful nations often act in their own interests, harming the weaker ones. In 416 BC, during the long war between Athens and Sparta, the Athenian army arrived at Melos, a small island in the Aegean Sea. Melos had stayed neutral, even though it had cultural ties with Sparta. The Athenians demanded that Melos surrender, pay tribute, and join their empire. The Melians refused. During the talks, the Athenians were blunt. They could afford to be, they were powerful. They told the Melians that justice and fairness did not matter in war. All that mattered was strength. The Melians countered, claiming justice, divine favor, and hope were on their side. Well, how naive can one get? They also expected assistance from other states. However, the Athenians ignored their pleas. When Melos continued to resist, Athens attacked. Melian men faced death while the women and children were forced into slavery. The Melian dialogue became a key example of what scholars now call realism in the international relations. This realism says that nations act to protect their own power and security, not based on moral values or laws. According to this view, strong countries do whatever they can, while weaker ones have little say. Now let us jump forward over 2000 years. The United States is today's global superpower. Like Athens in ancient Greece, it has often acted based on what it believes is necessary for its security or interests. Two examples of this are the US interventions in Iraq and Iran. In 2003, the US invaded Iraq, claiming that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction and links to terrorism. Later, evidence revealed these claims to be false. In a manner similar to Athens, the US operated without the full support of the global community. The United Nations did not approve of the war, and many countries opposed it. The United States forged ahead, claiming to act for global security and the region's democratic future. How democratic that region has become, it is there for all to see. Iraq, like Milos, was the weaker side. The war led to the fall of Saddam Hussein but also caused massive destruction. That war killed thousands of civilians, ruined the country's infrastructure, and the resulting power vacuum led to years of sectarian violence and rise of terrorist groups like ISIS or ISIS. Just like the Malian dialogue showed, the United States used the power to impose its will. Iraq had little choice and ended up suffering greatly. Another example is how the United States has treated Iran, especially during Donald Trump's presidency. In the year 2018, the Trump administration withdrew from the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action or JCPOA, commonly known as the Iran nuclear deal. Iran and six major powers, including the United States of America, signed the deal in 2015 to limit Iran's nuclear program in return for lifting economic sanctions. At the time of withdrawal, international monitors had confirmed that Iran was following the agreement, the terms of the agreement. The United States reimposed tough sanctions which crippled Iran's economy. In 2020, a United States drone strike killed General Qasem Soleimani, one of Iran's top military leaders, when he was in Iraq. He was visiting Iraq. The United States claimed it was a defensive move. Iran saw it as an act of war. Like Milos, Iran appealed to international rules and fairness. But the stronger power, the United States, acted based on its own interests. Iran had little power to respond in kind. The sanctions limited Iran's options and its people suffered. This pattern of behavior shows how Marx's idea of history repeating itself plays out. First, it is a tragedy, like the destruction of Milos or the suffering in Iraq. Then it descends into absurdity in the form of a repetitive process in which powerful nations persist in the same behavior under the illusion that their military or economic power guarantees control for all time to come. High sounding terms like spreading democracy, protecting human rights, or ensuring peace often frame these actions. But in reality, they often lead to more chaos, more deaths, and long term instability. Powerless individuals frequently experience suffering, a situation that reflects the Malian plight. Churchill's warning about looking backward to understand the future is also important here. Athens, once powerful and proud, eventually overreached and lost the Peloponnesian War. It declined soon after. The United States, by repeating similar patterns of behavior, by asserting its dominance and showing disregard for global opinion, risks making the same blunder. The Malian dialogue offers insights beyond past conflicts. They still help us understand global politics today. One area where this is clear is the growing competition between the United States and China. China's actions in the South China Sea, such as building artificial islands, are increasing tensions with neighboring countries. These smaller countries are like modern day malians. They can protest and appeal to international law, but in the end, they must either align with the powerful or risk suffering alone. But as usual, history throws up exceptions too. Putin's Russia wants to resurrect the Tsarist glory. However, it has faltered in its very first attempt. Ukraine is putting up a strong resistance and refuses to be another Belarus. But for how long? This remains to be seen. The United States uses its military bases, alliances, and economic sanctions to maintain influence around the world. These actions are often based on power, not moral principles. Again, the message seems to be clear. We are strong, so we will do what we want. The Malian dialogue also applies to areas like cyber warfare and economic dominance. In the digital age, powerful countries and even tech companies can launch cyber attacks, spy on rivals, or use digital tools to influence elections or suppress dissent. Smaller countries and poorer populations cannot compete in the same way. They have to rely on building alliances or appealing to global rules and institutions, much like the Malians appealed to justice and the hope of divine help. Economic sanctions too are often a tool used by strong countries to intimidate or punish weaker ones. These sanctions are sometimes justified on moral grounds, but they often hurt ordinary people more than the leaders they target. And again, it is the weaker who suffer. The Malian dialogue paints a dark picture, but does it have to be this way? In today's world, we do have international institutions like the United Nations, the International Criminal Court, and various global agreements that aim to create fair rules for all. These are meant to prevent the kind of power-based bullying that Athens practiced. However, these institutions often struggle. The 5 permanent members, China, France, Russia, the United Kingdom, and the United States, frequently deadlock the United Nations Security Council because they can veto any decision. So, when big powers act in their own interests, there is often no proper punishment or pushback. So, you can forget about justice, morality, etc. in international real politics. Despite this, there is still hope. Diplomacy, dialogue, and cooperation do sometimes work, rarely, of course. Peace talks, trade agreements, and cultural exchanges can help build trust and prevent conflict. But for these to succeed, powerful countries must also be willing to restrain themselves and think beyond short-term interests. The Malian dialogue may be over 2000 years old, but its message is still very current and pertinent. Thucydides showed how power silences justice and how the weak often pay the price when they resist the powerful. The US actions in Iraq and Iran show how these lessons are repeated. Just like Athens, the USS often acted based on strength, not law or morality. And just like Melos, weaker nations have suffered. Marx was right. These events first unfold as tragic mistakes and then they are repeated as farce with little change. Churchill was also right. We must study the past if we want to understand the future. By reflecting on Milos and what happened afterward, we can ask for better questions about today's politics. How can we avoid repeating these cycles? Can justice ever have a place in global affairs? Will powerful individuals and nations ultimately choose to act differently, driven by moral obligation rather than mere capability? Let us see if wisdom dawns on this world and on the powerful. In case you have liked my video, please do like, subscribe, comment, and share. Thank you.